going, boys? Mike here. Welcome back to Grampie's workshop. Well, another day, another project. Let's get at her. Can't sit around and do nothing, eh? The other day, I took out my lumber storage rack that I had mounted in here. I had, a big rack here. Anyway, it makes a ton more room in the shop. But when I was taking all that out, I ended up with this 2x4 stud left in here because I had this electrical service on it. And this service is for my table saw, the planer, the router, things like that. With this lumber storage rack gone, it makes a lot more room in the shop, so I'm going to be able to place the tools maybe in a different location, the power tools. So the project today is to get this electrical service moved somewhere closer to the saw. So let's see what we can come up with. So I was wondering where I could locate this electrical service for the saw and other tools basically, but for the saw primarily. And I was thinking this post is in the middle of the shop, and I have the saw set up now so that I can avoid, for the most part, bumping material into this post while I'm working at the saw. So I'm thinking this might be a good spot to locate that electrical service. And it just so happens that the feed comes across the beam here, if you can see that, and then across the floor joist and down that 2x4 to the outlet. So it just means I'll have to pull that all back, drop it down on this side of the beam, and run it down the post. I already have the dust collector port set up in this post, so that shouldn't be a big deal. In order to do that, instead of just having the outlet hang loose down there, I'd like to build a box around this post. Kind of fancy it up a little bit too, right? But build a box around it so that I can have proper plug-in area for the saw. So this wire here runs over to my router table. What I'm going to do is remove this wire to get started. So it's just tie wrapped to the post. I don't know how I'm going to get that plug out because it's in behind the dust collection line. But anyway, I'll get that. And once we have that, then take these two blocks away to take this down leg off for the dust collector so that I can get full access around this post to start building my box. So to build the box around this post, I'm thinking I'm going to need some pieces of wood here to go against the post, and then I can use that to secure the box, sturdy it and whatnot. So what I figured is I'd like to have at least 5 inches on this side of the post, or one side of the post, because that's as much room as I need for the outlet I have for the saw. Plus this is a 3-inch diameter post, so that's 8 inches. So I figured if I cut a piece of wood 9 inches long, and I'm cutting it out a piece of 2x6, so it's going to be 5.5 inches wide. So that should be plenty deep enough for the electrical box. But I'm going to try to cut a hole in the corner of this piece right here, right, to fit around this post. So I'm going to draw out a circle on here, and then I'm going to cut it on the bandsaw. Ooh, that'll be fun. Let's try that. Get that as close to the edge as I can, right about there. Not bad, eh? Let's go try it. Okay, we're hoping that this fits on here. It does. Kind of loose though, isn't it? That'll work. I have to cut another one like this, and then I'm going to set up and cut a smaller diameter for the upper post. So I've got 3 of these blocks now. 2 of them fit around the big pipe at the bottom, and this one I cut it smaller. So it'll fit up here, right? One thing we have to watch out for now is this post. It's meant for leveling the second floor, right? Not just for holding it up, for leveling it. So if you notice up here, there's a screw thread in that. It's like a jack post, exactly. And what I want to make sure is I continue to have access to this threaded rod up here in case I need to level it. So that means when I build this box, I can't build the box right up to that beam. I'm going to have to cut it back short, maybe, I don't know, 5 inches, 4 inches. 4 inches I'll do it. And then I guess what I'd have to do is build some sort of molding or something around the top so that I could slide that up to cover this business, because I don't want that exposed. So I'd like it to be covered, but I'd like to be able to get access to it. I can't get the camera set up to show you, but at the bottom of this post it sits on a 3/16 sheet of, or a little piece of plate. So in order for me to get this piece of wood that I just cut tight against the post, I'm going to have to cut a notch for the wood to set over that. Plus, the pin in here that holds the post where it is, that's sticking out the side. I would like that to be around the other way, but it's not. I'm going to set this board here, just kind of eyeball it where it would be lined up with the edge of the post. And I'm going to mark where I have to cut a notch for it to fit over that piece of plate on the bottom. And then when I cut that, then that'll sit down here. And then I can mark where I have to put a little recess in the back of this board to get around this pin here that holds the post up. Okay, so there's the notch that I just cut there to fit around that base plate that's under the post. I have to make an indent now to accommodate this pin. So I'm just going to mark this with my pencil. Something like that, if I were to cut that right out of there. I don't know how good this bit's going to work, because I'm going to try it by hand, and it's probably going to catch and hook up, and I was going to make a mess. But anyway, we're going to try this. The reason I'm using this one is because it kind of does a flat bottom. So I want to go about halfway through the piece. Okay, now this hole should fit around this pin. And then the bottom of this will be flush against the pipe, right? Against the post. Not bad. So I think what I have to do next is set my blocks in place and then sort of attach these boards to the blocks. I'm going to try and mount this board here. So I put my blocks on the post. The middle one, the bottom one, and the top one. And then we're going to put this in here. Line that up there. And then I have a clamp here. Woo. So the problem is, the blocking that I'm using here is not as wide as the 1x. So I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to mark the 1x6 hemlock and rip that along the length of it. Alright, we'll set this in place now and see what we can come up with. That looks better. So this is going to go right here. So yeah, that's going to be that, and then I'm going to put some skin on here, and then I can cut the notch out of there and put the outlet in. I just thought of something now as I'm setting this all up. One other thing I need to do is, in this one and in this block up here, I have to drill some, fairly significant size holes, because I need to pass some cabling, wiring through there. So I better do that before I get too far, eh? Well, I've got this all framed up, the two sides. Now I need to find some skin to put on the outside of it there, right? So I cut a piece of 1/4 inch OSB here, and we're going to use that in the back here for the bottom part anyways. We'll put some screws in it. Okay, I think that's going to be good, eh? I'll finish screwing that down, and then we'll get the next one to put in here. Alright, doesn't look too bad. By the time you get a coat of paint on that, she'll look some spiffy. So now what I need to do is disconnect my electrical supply, and then fish that down through here and wire that in down here. And I'm going to have to do that and then reconnect it all, because I need my table saw for cutting the skin that's going to go on the back side of this. So we're just going to disconnect this. I have the power shut off. This is wired with number 10 wire, eh? So it's stiff, hard to work with. There we go. That's that part of it done. All right. Okay, I've taken this orange cable here. It's a 3 conductor number 10. It's the 220 feet for the saw. I pulled it back from that 2x4 and across the floor joist, down across this beam, and then down into this cavity. So I have the end of it here ready to be wired for 220 for my saw. I'd also like to put a 110 outlet on this post. So way back when I built the shop, I put an outlet here on the ceiling in anticipation of having a power garage door opener. Well, I don't need a power garage door opener, but I left the outlet up there, and I eventually ended up getting a shop light, so I hang that here and plug it in, so that's great for that. But what I'd like to do is also tap into that and take a feed from that outlet down into this post as well for my 110 outlet. And that is a 20 amp service. All the plugs in the shop are 20 amps, so like it certainly has the capacity. So then I need some wire, right? And it can't be number 14 wire, it has to be number 20. So I never throw anything out, as you know. And all my wire ends and pieces and whatnot, I throw them in a box here. So I was rooting through the box, and I just happen to have, I think it's 7 feet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 feet of 12-2 wire, which should be just about enough to run down here to a box. Isn't that handy? That's why you save stuff, folks. The tie-in is done. I just have to put the outlets in next. So I've got this outlet in and wired up, and I want to put the box in now for the saw outlet. Cut that off about here, I think. There we go. All right, so we've got 2 feet of 3 conductor number 10 left over. Put that in the box. Look too bad. All right, I'm going to put some screws on this side, and then we're going to measure for this top piece. So I cut my second piece, and I cut these pieces out of the sliding drawer fronts that I used to have on the bench under the window. And because I'm skimping on wood and trying to save everything I can, I had finger holes cut into those drawers so I could open them. And I wasn't able to get 2 pieces wide enough, so I have to end up with half a finger hole here. So hope you don't mind. But anyways, we're going to put that up there. And I don't know, maybe I'll hang my hat up there and no one will notice it. But anyhow, let's see if we can put this in here. So we'll put a few screws in this. Then we'll have to give it a little rub with the sandpaper. And also, because I was using these pieces, 2 of them together doesn't quite get it to the top there. So on the back side I had to put another little piece in, so I'll do the same thing here. Finish that off, and that'll be it. And then, you know, I'm going to have to paint it. I managed to move the electrical service from that 2x4 that was right here in the middle of the open area that I made when I moved my lumber storage rack. Moved it over here, built a nice box. I've got a 110 outlet here now, and I've got my 220 down here. And I put a little kind of a baseboard thingy up here, crown molding. And when I need to get at this post, if I need to re-level the upper deck here in the shop, there's a screw in the back. I just take that screw out, that'll slide down, and I can get access to the jack screw on the top of my post. So, plus, it's all painted. So thanks for watching, folks. I sure hope you enjoyed this little video. Let me know what you think about the post here in the middle of my shop. Have a great week too, eh? Stay warm. We'll talk to you.